or are you gonna play shy?
No, sadly, no, it's not just kindness. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me to the call.
No problem, man.
I
So,
prepared some questions, like three, as you said.
okay.
Uh, Not necessarily related, but the first one would be how to be unfazed, as in unreactive to external influence or threats.
Oh man, do you want to be talking for 2 hours just for this question? Because it's layered, and the question is right, but it's also incorrect, as usual. So you're gonna have to give me an example. What do you mean? Unfazed to what? I mean, if you come to your house and your girlfriend is fucking your neighbor, are you supposed to be unfazed?
Absolutely not.
Correct. So what is the question?
Say, for example, when somebody tries to manipulate you or to draw a reaction out of you, like, say, somebody tries to panic you, like, let's say you're at work and the boss just comes
Hmm.
and throws 5 6 tasks in a row. You do that, you
Yes.
do that, you do that, you do that, and then you get like confused or agitated, and you're just out of sync, mm, with yourself, like you're out of
No,
focus.
no, I get it. The boss is a good example. Position of authority. They're in charge of your salary and shit. Give me another example.
Say you get criticized by someone with authority, parents or family, or
What about somebody without authority?
hmm well then.
Because I'm trying to actually find the question. You understand? So, what is the
Mhm.
question? Because just to give you a spoiler, this idea that you should be not moved by the world is stoic fantasy bullshit.
All right.
That is not the task. When you're hungry, you have to go and eat. If you have a child and you enter a room and your child is being raped by your uncle, you're not supposed to be stoic. If you're in war and the Nazis are coming to your house to kill you and your family, you're not supposed to stay still and find Kundalini awakening. Uh, the line looks gray, but it's not, because the line is reactiveness. And there is a weakness in reaction. And that is where we're actually trying to fight. We're trying to find the weakness so we can call the weakness, we can kill the weakness, because the weakness is for sure going to be used against you by bad people. So the same thing that you're using to react to reality, to stop the Nazis, to stop somebody coming to your house to fuck your child, and the same anger you should apply when you find your girlfriend or your wife fucking neighbor, is going to be abused by somebody with bad intentions. So the purpose is to find the weakness and disconnect the weakness from the immediate reaction, so you still own you. Makes sense? So when you're asking the question, you didn't ask a question yet, because what the fuck does it mean to remain on face in the face of stimuli? If you're in a beach and a beautiful woman comes to you and she's gorgeous, she's a fucking 10, she's everything you ever wanted, she's even good spiritually, should you remain stoic or should you have a boner? You understand the question? What the fuck does it mean to be reactive? The question is not true yet. So try to make it properly, dude. Because it's not disconnection from reality. It's even, makes sense? We're not talking about the connection. We're talking about fixing a problem. So what is the problem? What are you trying to fix?
Well, the problem is that somebody tries to, when somebody criticizes me or just well, let's put it some other way. I shrink the moment somebody pokes at the weakness, like when they say you did a bad job, that was not all right, you are too slow, you blah blah blah. So,
Uh-huh.
for example, I work
Now,
as
dude,
a.
sorry, I have to stop you there before you add more information. Why is shrink wrong?
Say again.
Why is shrinking wrong?
Well, I think it's wrong because it gets you off. the above position, like you.
Should you always be in above position?
Hmm.
You understand how we make this super complicated, dude? It's fascinating because everything is true and false. Because your question is correct, but you're not getting to the core. I'll help you. You also can be full of shit. You're aware of that, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody's full of shit. We're all full of shit at some points because we generate alternative realities that we have to validate to know if they're full of shit. We don't know in principle. So we try. But half of our shit, if we're generous, is going to be wrong. So it needs to be corrected. If you construct a system where you can never react to reality and you're always above, are you going to be good?
Well, it's just going to be in your own.
You turn evil.
Yeah.
You're going to turn evil because you lost the feedback mechanism. So that is a fucking beautiful process here, dude. And I don't want to go too much into a rabbit hole here, but I understand the question you're making. I want you to find the question because the question is your solution. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you how to make the above frame more permanent, and I can tell you how to stop reacting. But that is not what is actually going to help you. That is just going to delay your own finding of the solution. Because being more permanent is just going to make whatever the fuck bubble you're constructing last longer. But longer doesn't mean forever. That means that whatever you accumulate in the process is going to accumulate more payload, more mistake. And then when it fucking finally crashes, which is going to happen, maybe you find out yourself that you've been being really fucking strong while in the wrong job, with the wrong friends, with the wrong wife, with the wrong kids. But you were really fucking strong, so you endure all the way there because you didn't react. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That is not the objective. The objective is to remove weakness because weakness can be abused. So whatever you're trying to do proper becomes a shape that now can be taken from the outside and be used against you. And that's what you don't want. So I'll give you an example. You're saying this about work, right? So you're at work, you have a job, you have a boss. And if you have a malignant boss or a boss that is not enlightened, which is normal, he's going to come to you, he's going to try to change your behavior from the outside. A normal person, the only tool they have is emotional manipulation. So your boss is going to try to manipulate you. But now we have to filter intent. Are they trying to manipulate you emotionally because they want to fuck you up and have you die? Or they're trying to make you change for better? Because it's not the same.
Yeah, I got it.
Then you're going to have the shrink. The shrink feels like dying and it's a form of ego death. It's pain. And we don't want it. It's a painful experience. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to expand. We want to pursue flavor. We want to win. Shrinking is death. It's a form of death that feels real. So we don't want it. So what do we want to do? We want to avoid the shrink. But the shrink has a purpose. Because when you're wrong, you have to be corrected. So there's going to be a case, in case that you become more strong with your frame and your boundaries, that you're going to be exuding confidence and taking territory and being dominant and having attraction and everything is going your way, but you're going in the wrong direction. How is supposed reality to tell you if you delete shrink?
Mm-hmm.
You understand the game. The game goes both sides. We're not fighting one side of the equation. We're fighting both. The goal is not permanent expansion. It's proper expansion in the right direction. How do you find the right direction? Try to answer that fucking question, my friend. Isn't this shit fascinating? Because we can start in every fucking aspect, in every fucking question. We're always going to go back to the fundamentals. It's like a small Lego piece, but for us, it's really hard to translate, to use that word. How do you find what is right? How the fuck do you know?
Yeah. That is a good question, but I cannot quite
I'll tell
answer.
you. I'll tell you the answer, dude. Because it's the only thing you have. You have to trust yourself, which is what you're trying to avoid by getting a system.
So you're looking for a map is avoiding getting.
Correct. You're trying to find something that tells you what to do, which is perfectly fine. We need to find maps for new territory. What is wrong, like in every fucking example that I gave you, is the intent. Because the fucking mistake we make, that is the actual game, is really primitive. It's really fucking simple, so we keep avoiding it. Seeking the map is perfect. I'll give you all the fucking techniques. Even if the techniques I give you are perfect, if your intent comes from you're trying to replace your own judgment with my advice, you are going to find a way that turn my perfect advice into poison. Everything is, even if everything is perfect. Even if everything is perfect. So the goal is not permanent expansion. The goal is permanent expansion and contraction towards what is correct. And when you try to find what is correct, you only are going to find you have only one source, and it's your own judgment. So now you have to trust yourself. When you trust yourself, you're going to find out that that trust is not even trust in what you think is good and bad, because you don't decide what is good and bad. You perceive it. You understand where I'm going?
Yeah.
And that destroys whatever you're trying to build, or it feels like. Does that make sense, what I just said? What I just told you is going to send you into what feels to be a surrender, submission path. Can you feel that when I'm telling you?
So you gotta surrender to perception and perceive what is good and what is evil, not to.
Yeah, but it's going to feel like shrinking.
Like,
Because,
oh, I think I did a bad thing. Then this is
yeah,
bad. I did not
but
do it again.
correct. But it feels shrinking because you are, in fact, wrong. It has to be removed. So how do you remove what is wrong while fighting the shrink? But if you don't fight the shrink, your boss abuses you. How do you know what is correct? Which brings us back to the fucking point that I was making. Because it's not allow the shrink. You get it? It's not allow the shrink. It's not a permanent expansion. It is, of course, I need to prevent my boss from abusing me. So I need to stop the shrink, but it cannot be all shrink. What is missing in these fucking things that you need to know what is right and what is wrong? Because you need to expand in the proper direction, and you need to let the shrink happen when it's proper. And you cannot do all of this while you're trying to hold on the map. So experience what happens to you when I tell you that you cannot trust the map. You see that fucking void?
Yeah, this is well, it's definitely a new perspective on it.
Yeah. So that void is the part of you that is suppressed. And that's the actual answer. That's what you need to bring in, because I'll tell you how it works, and then I'll tell you the technique, because techniques are easy. And I love them because I spent many years developing the techniques. But this is like fresh knowledge. This was going to happen. When I tell you to let go of the map and you experience that as a void, that is a portion of yourself that is being suppressed by trauma or adaptation or something where you don't trust yourself. So you're looking for a replacement, an external authority that is going to be my book, which is the best book in the world. I mean, my book is still the best, but it's a map. And because it's a map, it's shit. Because a map is another territory. I can give you a map of China and you can memorize every fucking centimeter of the map. You still don't know China. You're going to know China when you go to China and you can, that's the wall. But you need to look at the actual shit. So my book is a beautiful map, but it's still shit. but it's supposed to make you look. So when you have a self-suppress, you're gonna try to find something outside to tell you what is the right path, which is proper. Because if you don't know, you seek help. That's why you're in this call. And let's say that you're lucky enough that I'm one of the people that are not trying to do this for self-benefit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm a conduit trying to give you knowledge. So other people are going to see that void that you have and use that same circuit for self-benefit, because when you don't know, you need to take external authority and take that in consideration with me, which means you yourself are going to map what they're saying, and you make that reality happen so you can validate that reality with your own experience so you can know if this is true or not. In the case with an abuser, when they tell you you're a piece of shit, you're useless, you're nothing, you can only know if this is true if you make it happen first. So you're going to role play the abuse, feel it, and then determine whether they're right. In practice, you just executed the abuse in yourself, and you have no defense against this. The only defense is when you know before running the simulation, which is what you experience right now as a void, because you think that you need the map to know. You think you need to have it mapped before the experience comes, which is how the map works. But you can never map reality fully. It has gaps. Your map is never complete. So when the boss comes and they tell you your piece are being manipulated, or your mom or your girlfriend or a friend or a group of friends or a past memory, it just comes, it executes a judgment, and because you have a self-suppress, you need to run the experiment to get the experience to know if this was true or not. And this makes you slave of the external judgment, so now you're forever a victim. The only actual defense is not to have a better map, is to restore the self. Because if I call you a pig fucker, did you need to imagine the situation before knowing this is not true?
Well, no, I know it's not true. Like,
Are you there, or did you die?
do you hear me? Hello?
Hello. I hear your keyboard, but I don't hear a voice, dude.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I think there was something wrong with the microphone.
Hello.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me now?
I hear you, yes.
Perfect. I think there was something wrong with the microphone.
So if I call you, hey, dude, you were just a fucking Nazi. You were killing black people behind your bedroom last night. Do you require to run the experiment and take that as true before knowing it's bullshit?
Yeah, absolutely not. I just know.
How do you know? How do you know? Why, when your boss calls you a piece of shit, why it is different? I'll tell you the answer because we have 45 minutes. The answer is you already think that's true. There is a portion of you that is saying maybe. And that is a fucking weakness. That's what we're trying to kill, dude. It's not a shrink. Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it now. There's a wound there that's just
Correct.
flown to the world. Come kick it.
Yes, somebody in the past came to you to abuse you, and they planted a seed. And it's a seed that you have not been able to resolve. And you have not solved it. You have built structures around it to manage around it, which is proper because what the fuck else are you supposed to do? Just be a piece of shit? No, you want to be a good person. So you build structures around the wound so the wound doesn't completely determine your reality, but it's fucking up portions of it. And you're going to spend your whole fucking life fighting it if you don't fix it. And then you have some fuckers that are inverted They live in a world where everybody is an opportunity, and their way in is to find your opening, your weakness, and exploit it. And that is where you're trying to fix. It's not the shrink. You want to not be weak.
Yeah, it absolutely makes fucking sense now.
Right?
Yeah.
You want to not be weak. Which is the simplest shit that I could say in this fucking call, dude. I'm not telling you anything that is new. In a way, that's what you're telling me, but you're equating weakness with shrink. But that's not correct, because shrinking is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can be wrong. I can develop an ego, and then I overdo it. I create a fantasy where I'm Prince Charles, and then somebody's going to put me in my place. And even when that hurts, it's correct, because I overdid it. Shrink is fine. Weakness is wrong. Find the weakness. Cure the weakness. The only way to find the weakness, you need to restore the self. The self is being suppressed because, or within, it's kind of like the same thing of the self being suppressed. To suppress the self, you need to suppress judgment. That's what creates the I don't know. You need to restore your capacity to know what is right and what is wrong. And you know what is right and what is wrong before you run the simulation. When you're able to know what is right and what is wrong before running the simulation, and a bully comes to you and tries to explode you and treat you like a piece of shit to create an emotional reaction, to control your behavior, if your self is there and you can say what is wrong and what is correct, you can say no without taking what they're saying as if it needs to have a personal validation where you consider that they may be right. Without this being blindness, you see that distinction? You can say no to somebody's argument and completely disqualify what they're saying without this being blindness. But this requires you to be closer to the truth than they are. Am I going too deep? Did I completely lose you, dude? Because I can just give you techniques. And techniques are fun.
Well, you lost me with the last argument with the blindness. I mean,
Usually, when you're trying to be stronger, like we were in the cycle before, that I just want expansion and I don't want shrink. That would produce a structure that is always going to top G, right, to above frame, and is never in bottom frame. So that would be a structure that just doesn't shrink. So it's like attempting permanence, and it's always growing. It looks really strong. And it's going to be really strong. The problem is that is not the objective. The objective is to grow towards what is correct. So if you have a structure that is always growing, you're going to miss the mistakes you accumulate in the way. So you're going to avoid shrinking when it was necessary. So your strength becomes a blind spot. It means you're missing on information that was valuable. Do I still have you here?
yeah.
Okay. But then I told you that if you restore your own self that is being suppressed, and yourself can know what is correct and not correct. So when a bully comes to you and they try to abuse you, you're going to be able to say no before even considering what they're saying. Like I just said, you're just a fucking Nazi that were killing black people behind your bedroom last night. You don't have to consider what I'm saying as true. You're not going to put this in as emotional baggage. You just reject immediately. But you heard the words. You heard the words that they just don't register as true, which is different than when your boss abuses you. I can come up here with a bunch of insults, and 90% of them are going to be completely bullshit, and you're going to be able to dodge and say no to 90% of them, except of the ones that you think are true.
Yeah, I got it now.
If I tell you, Corsair, my friend, you're just fucking insecure because there is something wrong with you, I know this is hitting some chord in you. Make sense?
Yeah.
I just made it up. That's the magic. I just made it up. That's how abusers fuck you up. They don't know what the fuck they're saying, dude. They just say shit, and then you make it true. So the problem here, if I just give you a technique so you're stronger, you can bounce out the abuse, but you're gonna bounce out actually useful information. So what you have to do here is rescue the self. So the doubt is not there. So the abuser has nothing to poke on.
And how do we do that?
Yes. You have to trust yourself.
Well,
see, the answer is like, but how? That's not possible. I don't know how to do that. Trust what? There's nothing here. There's an empty room. I don't see anything to trust here. Trust what? Hello? Boy, where is me? I don't see me. There's nothing to trust. It's all bullshit. Because if this was true, you would have not a weakness. The fact that I can make it react means that it's there. But now I can give you techniques because we move like 2 inches from how do I prevent the shrink, how to be manipulated. We watch the question that you ask. So I kind of move you to how do I recover my own self, right? It's the same question, but I force you to go. It's like 2 centimeters deeper.
Yeah, it's well, totally.
You see that?
Exactly. Yeah.
I give you 2 answers because you're gonna be using both, and the 2 answers are correct. Give me a second so I can try to unify them. So it's only one advice. So I'm guessing. Did you read the book?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember chapter 4? When I'm giving the techniques for your, I think I call it social stumbox.
Yeah, the banter, the all the answers that well you can provide to anything, as far as I remember, right?
Sorry?
Yeah. Do you still hear me?
Yes.
So yeah, I remember there was a chapter with all the answers that you could provide to a shit test or whatever, right?
Yeah. So chapter 4, I start with don't be a thief. Then I go into it's the longest part of the book. I did like 20 techniques or so about how to deal with social interactions. I'll call it the social stumbox.
Yeah.
There is one exercise there that is called disagree I.
All right.
As a technique, next week, do disagree I 5 times a day. This is what the exercise is for. The exercise goes in sequence, but it's basically you're gonna be wrong in an interaction. You know that you're wrong, and the other person is gonna realize eventually that you know that you are wrong. So they're gonna try to manipulate you into changing your posture to align with reality, and you are not gonna do it. And there is only one reason why you're not gonna do it, and it's not that you are correct; it's that you don't want to.
All right.
This is gonna kill your ego. This is gonna solve the surface of the problem.
Okay.
So it works like this. You go to whatever fuck and you say stupid shit. Like Freud, real name was Frodo.
Mm-hmm.
So actually Tolkien stole Frodo name for his book. Or you say the most stupid shit in the world, like having the book, like the capital of Italy is Napolitana, or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. Something that is obviously wrong, so everybody's going to try to correct you. and you're gonna escalate in being wrong. And you're
Okay.
gonna see this is gonna send you to a little ego death because you're gonna see your own self separating from reality, where you're gonna be able to tell you're being tasked by the universe to align with the proper, correct interpretation of reality that you know is true. You know you're in the wrong. But the only reason why you don't do it is you want to. You want to remain against. It's not a reaction. You decided before the fact. And sometimes people go insane. They scream in your face, "It's not Florida, you fucking stupid!" And then you say something even more stupid. Like, you sound like a Teletubbies fan. You remain being wrong by choice. That is going to close the gap where you have a self that is absent and is trying to find an authority to feel to be correct, which is the weakness that is being abused by the boss. The other thing that experiment teaches you is you don't have to shrink when you're being called to shrink. It's your choice. It's always been your choice. You just don't know when to use it. So it's just happening. Because you don't know, in quotes. So that is one exercise. It's just be wrong in purpose and deal with the aftermath without changing. There is an advanced form of that exercise where you tell the person up front that for the next half an hour, you're going to be against everything they say. So when they say left, you say right. And even when you tell them in advance, because the dream is that powerful, they're going to lose their fucking minds that you do it anyway. Reality is going to try to force you into conforming, and you're going to say, no, I do whatever the fuck I want. It's a really simple exercise. Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
There are no fucking consequences other than your own transformation that is going to happen inside. So that's in the negative. The other one exercise that is also superficial is going to be with assertion. It's also in chapter 4. And it's a mix of a couple of exercises. So you're going to be looking at a situation. You're going to decide what is going to happen before it happens. And then you're going to make the situation happen. Let's say that you imagine this person is going to talk to that other person and they're both are going to laugh. Simple shit. Then you stand up, you go to one person, you take them to the other person, and you make both of them laugh. This is really simple. Are you taking notes? I think you're taking notes. You should take notes.
Yeah, I've opened the book to actually look at the.
Good. So that's the second exercise. I think it's called induced reaction. Yeah, it's called induced reaction. So you're gonna go in social situations. You're gonna go in social situations at work or in the street or at a club. You're gonna imagine what you want to happen, and then you're gonna make that exact situation happening while you know that you're making it happen. And the people around you are probably going to notice that you are making this happen intentionally, but you don't stop.
That sounds pretty fun.
Dude, this is every fucking day. I mean, this is me right now. That's what I'm doing with you. Mm-hmm. The problem is that I want you enlightened. And we're playing a game where I want you enlightened. And that's not what you want. You want something else. So I need to maneuver you like a manipulator would and twist your desire into what I want to happen. So you want what I want. But I'm hoping that you connect the fucking dots yourself and you see that this is good. Which is the same game of a manipulator, but I'm using it for good. But it's the same game. Does that make sense?
It does indeed.
Correct. So you have two exercises. They're superficial, but this is going to give you experience. You're going to gain from those two exercises one, being wrong intentionally, and then being right before it happens. Really fucking invaluable exercises. Being wrong intentionally, but not changing. That makes you completely fucking unreactive. That's the skill you asked me for, but in a simpler way. And then being right before reality catches up with you. So you're actively creating reality before it comes to you. So you have two exercises. You do that next week, those two, your life is going to change, but I'm telling you, actually nothing has changed. Because that's not the game. I'm showing you how to control the dream. But that was another problem. The problem is, how do you know what the fuck is correct? Which is not the question you asked me. That's the question I'm trying to guide you to.
Mm-hmm. How do I trust myself?
So I'll tell you the deeper exercise.
Yeah.
That is in the book. It's chapter 2, but people read that chapter like it's nothing. So they, if they read Kuna, dude, trying to get laid, you're gonna get to chapter 7 and see. I didn't find it, even though it was there. Chapter 2. You're gonna go in silence. You can do this after you learn to control the dream. So you had fun, so you validate the shit works. So you already learned that your boss is gonna come to you. They tell you shit, but you have the power. You have two powers. One, to be wrong and not changing. And two, you have the power to be right before it's proper. So you can resist and you can create, which is amazing. The problem here is that because we haven't solved the actual source of the problem, now you're going to use those two powers for evil. You're going to resist change. You're going to be wrong on purpose when you are actually wrong and you should have change. And you're going to be able to create reality that you shouldn't have. So that's why I didn't jump into giving you techniques, because if I just give you techniques, I don't necessarily help you.
Yeah, I got it now.
That's why I did all this fucking half an hour round in the question instead of giving you fucking techniques, because I actually want to help you, dude. But you're not asking me the question that is going to solve the problem. So what the fuck do? I have to force you to ask a question, but it's not your question, it's mine. What the fuck are we playing, dude? Because the question you're asking me, you ask me a question because you want self-development and something outside is fucking you up. But I already know that if you just develop with that question, you're going to face the same scenario 2 meters from now and have the same fucking existential issue, but worse. And I want to save you the problem. So I'll give you a cheat code. So check this out. You're going to find out how to neutralize your boss, because you can be wrong and not shrink. You're going to be able to make your work life better because you can create a reality before it happens. So if you visualize, I want my boss to say that my work is amazing, you're going to see in front of you what exactly has to happen. You're going to do something. You're going to go to the boss. Your boss is going to tell you that it's amazing. So now you got control of the dream. Your problem now is that you have increased control, but you still don't know what is correct. You're going to fuck it up. You're going to be back in this fucking call in 2 months. Your problems are going to multiply. Which I don't want to happen. I want that you become wiser, not just more powerful. So this is how you're going to become wiser. After you have done the fucking experiment, you're going to go in solitude. You're going to face the pain that you're trying to evade. And you're going to sit with just one fucking phrase that is going to sound alien until you find it. I trust myself. It sounds like mumbo jumbo, feminized, feminist bullshit. And it is. But find the fucking phrase. I trust myself. That is not, I don't trust maps. Maps are fucking awesome, and my system is the best map ever done. But trust yourself, or you're fucked. And you know that as I'm saying it, I can tell already that you felt it. Trust yourself, or you're fucked.
Yeah, that one felt deep.
Good. Second question.
Well, the second question was how to let go of insecurities, but it's still a fucking layer. Then.
I already said it. I'll tell
Yeah,
you because I
definitely.
was talking about it exactly, dude.
Yeah.
The
So
thing is
I'll
that
skip this.
when I ask people, bring me 3 questions that can change your life, I'm making a trick because there is only one, but it's a one question that is hard to find. So if I give you 3 attempts, you're kind of gonna be in the ballpark. Makes sense?
Yeah.
But all the questions are gonna go to the same place. So I was already answering, but
Yeah, absolutely.
what
Well,
you want is not to let go of insecurities. You want to not be weak. I want to not be weak is the same phrase as I want to be strong. I want to be strong is the same phrase as I want to be me. I want to be me is the same phrasing as I want to trust myself,
exactly.
which sounds
So,
like mumbo jumbo. So you have to connect the fucking dots because it's there.
mhm,
Or the reason why it sounds like mumbo jumbo is because you're weak.
because as
That's
mentioned
why
in
it
this
doesn't
one,
resonate.
yeah, it all fits now as pieces of a
Dude,
puzzle.
dude, it's fascinating, dude. It's one puzzle. You start connecting this shit from any fucking angle, you end up in the same bullshit. It's one
Mhm.
puzzle. It's crazy. It's just fucking crazy.
It is indeed.
Next question.
Well, I think you answered that one as well.
What was it?
Well, it was how to let go of guilt slash wound, but
You can see now because, but I can talk a little more about this because wounds is a fascinating subject, dude. I've been exploring the fucking wounds uh, for a long time because it's not like I'm super enlightened human being that is past the system. I'm just an explorer. Does that make sense? I just, for my special configuration, that is by necessity a wrong configuration. I have trade-offs that are different than other people's. Uh, I am a pusher, which means I don't stop when I find a wall. I just keep going. I am a gambler, which means when I lose, I just double down, thinking that the win is just one bet away. And I'm a fucking kamikaze that is suicidal. So I don't care if I lose. This is a death recipe. Do you see the configuration? I don't stop. I don't give a fuck about obstacles. I keep going. When I lose, I keep doubling down because I know the payout is somewhere in the future. So I just keep going. I'm just accumulating knowledge. If I stop, that means that I lost all my bets. Why the fuck would I stop? I just keep going. I can't keep losing at Vegas every fucking day for every day. I'll just keep going. And then I'm a kamikaze, so I don't really care about the personal cost that it happens. And that is a sick part of the configuration that I learned to use for positive spiritual gains because each one of us learns to use the pieces that you're dealt to make the machine work. So I found a way to make those work. But in spiritual work, I just go where nobody wants to go. So where normal people will stop, I say, that's a wall. I don't believe in the wall. Just keep going. Let's see what the fuck is on the other side. On the inversion, the beautiful part is I don't believe anything can kill me. So suicidal kamikaze is at the same time some inner belief that I don't believe in death. I know that I'm immortal somehow. That's why I'm not afraid. Everything has its two sides. Do you understand that one?
hmm
It's not that I want to die, it's that I don't believe it exists. While at the same time knowing that it's not true. Death is there. Somehow I don't believe in it. Therefore, I can commit suicide. Therefore, I don't feel ego death. This shit is insanity, dude. But anyway, the fucking wounds is interesting. I'll give you some of my context, which makes the whole fucking wound emotional more resonant. I was raised by a psychopath that is my mother, and my father is a narcissist. And all along my childhood, I was offered nothing but corruption. But somehow, even though I had to receive the wounds, somehow in a way that is not comprehensible for me as an adult, and it's not something that I have seen other people do, I chose to say no at any cost. Because I should be a psychopath narcissist or a complete pushover. But somehow I said no, which gave me strength. But it gave me strength through negation. So I'm saying no to the abuse. And that no is somehow a yes to self. But it is through inversion. Saying no to abuse is not saying the same. It's not the same as saying yes to self. You understand? It's the same action, but it has inverted emotional balance. Because saying no to something that is bad is not the same as saying yes to what is good.
Yeah, I get it.
So this is the shit that I've been exploring since I came back to my spiritual knowledge that I had pending. Because you can be doing something that is correct, that is still wrong. Because you can be saying no to abuse. You can be saying no to evil, while still in somehow being a participant in the system that is corruption, while still doing everything correct. But it is wrong only because there is still a better way of doing it. And it's a change of inversions that happens like domino pieces, and it's because saying no to abuse is correct. It's just not as good as the one version of you that was there before you had the wound. So as long as you have not found the version of you that was there before the wound, you're still wrong, even if you have done 99% correct. Your job is not done.
That's why we're talking in the book about delete the wound.
Yes. So when you ask the question, that is a magic shit. When you ask the question, how do I let go of the wound? Just to answer the actual question. The desire is correct because the desire comes from a feeling that the wound should not be here. That is 100% true. You are correct. The wound should not be there. It has to go out. The question is wrong because it's being formulated as how do I let go? Your question is evasion. The question is hidden because this is a fucking river and it's domino pieces and it's cause and effect and it's all fucking bullshit. It's a sequence of dreams that you forget are made up and you consider only the last one as real. You think that the wound has to be let go, which means you think it's real. What is the fucking mindfuck this is doing in you right now, dude? When you want, you know that it's wrong, you want it away. Correct. But the question you're asking to solve the problem, that is the mechanical actions you take in the world to fix the problem, really fucking masculine because a woman is just going to try to wrap herself around to make herself feel good. You want to change reality, masculine, proper. But this is what you're saying. How do I let it go? Hidden in your question, you think the wound is real. Now it's an object. Now it has mass. Now it has power over you. Now, listen to the shit that we're doing, you and me. This is what we are saying. As long as the wound is here, we are fucked. Therefore, I have to let it go. Who the fuck told you that as long as the wound is here, you're fucked? You don't even realize you're saying this shit. You're sleeping. That's why I'm trying to wake you up. The question is correct and it's wrong. You gave the power to the wound. Now you made it the fucking boss. Now you said, as long as the wound is here, it has power. There is nothing I can do with this fucking wound. The only thing I can do is not even fight it. It's not I'm going to go to the kitchen and get a knife and stab the shit out of this wound. No, I just need to be passive and let it go. What the fuck are you saying? What the fuck are you saying? And I'll tell you what you're saying. This is not you. The wound